shirt on. Alright, so we should be good. Make sure I'm up on YouTube before I decide to do anything or talk about anything. It's been a long time coming for this. Okay. Alright. Might be just a couple seconds if you're just watching this in the future. And it's like not live and all the other shit. Might take a few seconds. I just want to make sure all my shit's up and running. And we're up. We're good. Okay. So, hey everybody. It's Tragic Paramore, and it's been a long time since I made a video. Alright, I know it's been a long ass fucking time, okay? And I was supposed to make one months ago, like 6 months ago or something like that, but I've been there's so much going on in my life. It's been a great time. I have a lot of exciting new shit going on. But I've had a few people ask me to, when's the next video? When's the next video? What's going on, you know? So it was like, I gotta do it. It's been a long time coming, and I want to help. Still, I haven't forgotten about anybody. It's just times, you know, they get to you and time slips away and you just forget to do shit. But here we are with the practice makes perfect number 3. I'm gonna talk about a little bit more stuff. Gonna kind of recap on some of the stuff that I've talked about before, like the triangle system and the environment and stuff, and how you can capitalize on it. But the main purpose of this video that I want to do is I want to help those who are struggling with offense and defense, mostly the defensive side, because it's like when you're in the midst of battle, it's kind of hard to think, what am I supposed to do? You know, I'm getting bodied over here, he keeps swinging, I don't know how to defend myself properly, so I'm going to show you guys some tricks, tools, and stuff like that that you can use with the environment, or even just fighting back to back, to help you gain the edge and push off of the defensive, as well as I'm going to teach you guys how to do some stuff that might help you stay on the offensive. My camera's over here. I should move that so it's over here because the way everything's all set up. So let me start a bit. So I'm going to do that for you guys, and everybody keeps saying that my random is filtered. I just wanted to show people that it's not. I just have a limited number of characters. It has nothing to do with really this video. It's just I see it a lot, and it's kind of fucking annoying to hear. I don't have a random filtered. It's just I don't have everybody. Okay, so I'm gonna stick with Honoka because she's gonna be like, since I know her well enough, I can pick apart things and help you understand and help me understand what I'm talking about, so you guys don't get confused. I don't get confused. You'll be able to see what I'm talking about. So first off, I want to start off here. As soon as you start off, you notice that there's this move details box. To access the move details, you're going to want to push the start button, go down to the fight screen info right here, and the move details is right here. Now if you're playing on the left side, you want to have the move details on the left side, and the information will cater to you. If you're on the right side playing, then you want to have it on the right side so that the information caters to you. I'm on the left side, so make sure that you do that so we can pull this up, and I'm going to show you guys some of the things that you want to learn and things like that. And I also got like a little checklist. If I keep looking down, don't trip about it. I just got shit I'm trying to make sure I talk about in this video and things like that. So I'm just, as it comes to me, I'm writing it down. So it shouldn't be too long of a video. First of all, I want to start off with the move details. It's a very useful tool. If you don't know what it is, you really need to take a peek into it. You can click in the right thumbstick button. You know, the right actual thumbstick that you would use in like any other game for camera angles or shit like that. Click it in, and you'll be able to get the arrows on each side, and you can scroll to the left and the right to go through each of the 3 pages, and it'll tell you, you know, what's on each side. And I'm going to teach you a good portion of some of this stuff here so you know what to look for. But this first page is about framework, and I'm going to make sure to save that for a whole nother video. I'm probably going to do that just individually, because frames are a bitch to learn, and there's a lot more defensive and offensive options you learn with frames alone. So to start off, I want to push it off into the second page where you learn about distance. I want to talk about distance with you guys. So up here at the top left where it says distance, it tells you how far away you are from your opponent, and if you do a move, you'll see every time you do a move, it changes over here on the side that says reach. Now, that's important because if I am within that parameter, somewhere in that area, about 1.6 area, if I do that same move, it's going to reach. If I'm outside that range, like right now, since I'm in the 1.8 area, it probably won't reach most of the time. Oh, it's got a hell of a reach. But that's what it's supposed to mean. But when it jumps down and up and down, it jumps about 0.2 up and down, so you have some leeway. But go too far beyond that, and you're probably not going to hit anything. Just so you know, in the knockback, for those who don't know what knockback is when you do a move, the knockback is how, when you hit somebody, how far it's going to push them back. So if you're standing dead in center and you hit them like this, the knockback is going to push them back the 1 meter that it's talking about. As you can see in the distance, right here I'm really close up, about the 7 area range, and then when I get the hit, it's going to push me back about the 7 range, 1 meter back. So that's something you want to take into consideration. Now, for the half hits, I'm not entirely sure what it means. I think it means like true mids. But as you can see, I have no clue. It doesn't pop up when I do shit, so it's like, it's really weird. It doesn't really specify. So, I want to talk about the close hit though. We're going to do a move, just Honoka's back forward punch. As you can see in the bottom, it'll say close hit. It says 1.2 meters. That's about the range you want to be. When you're inside that 1.2 meter range and you do that, you're going to get the close hit up here. That gives you more damage, about, I can't remember how much. We're going to 150% right there. You can see it in the damage section. So that's something I wanted to play with and let you guys know about. For defensive options, you can play with moves like that seem like they have a lot of reach, and you can figure out where it is that you need to be. Visually make some cues for it, make setups where you do something like this and backdash and do something so you know exactly how far you need to be, you know, kind of like something like that, so you can't get hit for it. So you want to take that into consideration when you're doing stuff. So check out the distance, play around with your moveset, figure out what the distance and the reach of each move is, figure out if it has knockback or not, you know, figure all that out so you can play around a little bit more with it. Alright, so now I really want to get into the offensive and the defensive options, because a lot of the times people will be playing and they'll be like, how the fuck am I supposed to get somebody off me? How am I supposed to defend myself? How do I keep somebody from defending themselves when, you know, all I want to do is apply this pressure and get some big damage? Well, we're going to start here with Honoka's forward grab. This is a great move if you play Honoka. I won't go too much into the details about it because that's all framework, but it's a really good move, and it gives you a lot of time to figure out what you want to do. What's your next move? What you plan to do? Now, if you're on the offensive side, if you're doing the hug, you have so many options at your disposal. First of all, I think I've talked about it before, there are tracking moves. You can see right at the bottom where it says tracking. When you do this move, a lot of the times people might try to hit a button so you can hit them ahead of time. But if you want a double whammy, where if you don't know if they're going to swing, or if you don't know if they're going to try to, like, you know, sidestep for you, then a tracking move is perfect. You want to use the tracking move, so they're not going to be able to swing at you. You're going to get the first hit. They're not going to be able to grab you, and they're not going to be able to sidestep because you have tracking. And tracking's whole purpose is to stop sidestepping. That's the whole point of a tracking move. So if you're in page 1 right here in the move details, you can play around with moves, and you can see down at the bottom where it says type, and it says mid punch. It's a strike, so you know it's an attack, and it's tracking, so you can't sidestep through this particular attack. So you can keep stuff like this in mind if you want to keep your offensive going, right? I am Not right now. I don't need an invitation out of here. So yeah, you just play around, because she has quite a bit of tracking moves. Like, this is a tracking move, that's a tracking move, this is a tracking move, this one's tracking, and every grab in the game, every grab is tracking. Every one. Doesn't matter what it is, every grab is tracking. So, you know. So that's some of the ways you can stay on the offensive if you're in certain situations. A lot of the times, you're going to want to get some really big stun. Like this. This is where you really start playing the offensive game. You see some stun, then you can do a couple hits. Now, you're like, well, what do I do if they decide that they want to start holding, or if I can't get on that offensive, or if I want to hold the offensive, right? Well, a lot of the times, what you can do is you can just keep applying the pressure. You're going to get that, you're going to get the stun. So you can do a whole bunch of moves right after, and you can keep applying the stun. You just have to make sure that you take your time with it. If you want to keep applying pressure, make sure that when you get the stun, that's when you really want to start doing moves really slowly, so that you can apply the pressure, and if they try to hold you, they can't get out of it. Things like that. But there's tons of other ways that you can go through this, right? But if you're like, oh, tragic, they keep holding me, I don't know what to do. What am I supposed to do with this? That plays into a couple things. You can, like I said, slow it down, and when you see a hold happen, just throw out a grab. You get big damage for it, and it stops their defensive options, and you're still right on the offensive, okay? Or you can start applying some pressure. Ooh, wrong button. You can start applying some pressure. They decide they want to hold. You can just do like a quick little back right there to get a backdash. Try to get a feel for what they're doing. The whole game is to try to figure out what they're doing and make a plan for it ahead of time. Don't just play. So you put it in, you get a hit in, they decide they want to hold. You get it back in, you see that hold, you have tons of space, you know your distance options you have for that amount of space, and you can play right into that, and you can keep your offensive going. But a lot of times, if you decide to backdash and try to do something, they might try to attack. So it's like, what do I do then if they decide they just want to get out of it? Well, you can go ahead and attack with a pretty quick move, you know, something that you know is fast. It's visibly fast, and it'll still keep you on the offensive side. Or you can go ahead and block. The worst thing that you can possibly do is jump back and do a counter. And I'll explain why. If you're applying this pressure, right? You're applying all this pressure. You got all these stuns going, and you decide that you don't know how he's going to play the game. You want to test him out a little bit, and you go for the backdash to see what's going on. And if you go to the backdash and you hold a move, you are automatically losing your offensive edge. You automatically turn it into a luck game at that point. If you see that this person is doing forward punch like this, if I'm doing forward punch and you're trying to get out of that, or you're trying to back up and see what I'm doing, and you try to hold the kick after, or the punch that she has after. Really? Okay. She has a punch after, and she has a kick. You're basically turning it into a coin toss. It's a 50-50 if you're going to get to keep your offensive, or if you're just going to completely let it go, and then it's their turn, and now you have to play the offensive game. Throwing out holds randomly is not something you want to do. Don't counter randomly. You want to counter when you can react to it, or you know the next part of the string, and there's not too much mix-up involved, or if they keep doing the same kind of things over and over again, when you can kind of tell at that point when to counter. Countering on the offensive, or when you're trying to move from defensive to offensive, is not the best thing that you want to do. Yeah, it'll get you somewhere sometimes, but it's not your best option. The best option, I could say, for defensive options, we're going to jump into that real quick. For defensive options, let's say you want to get off the defensive, you want to move to the offensive. this person's bombarding you. They got all these hits, right? The best thing that you can do at this point is what we call stagger escaping to remove some of that stun, and it'll help you block out. And if you can get that block, then you're already one step closer to moving towards the offensive. Or if you're already on the block game and you don't know what to do, they're just tapping and they're just trying to apply pressure by pokes with mids and high mix-up and low mix-up and stuff like that, but you don't know how to get out of it. The best thing that you could possibly do when you're at this blocking point is when you block something, let's say I do this knee right here, just throw out a little 1-2, just like that. Every character has it. Every character has one. Some characters may vary, you know, if you play Tengu, you might want the PK instead because it's a little faster, you know? But you're getting bombarded by these attacks, you don't know what to do, just throw out the little 1-2. It's not something they expect to happen, it can slow down their offensive, and it gives you a nice edge to push towards the offensive. You see what I'm saying? So, let's say I'm going down the list, I'm breaking it all down, I'm just tapping away. You throw in that 1-2 right there and interrupt whatever I'm doing. I no longer have that control, you have the control, and now you have the options to start playing to what you want to do. But you have to have a backup plan. If you're going to do the 1-2 string, then you need to have some kind of a backup plan. You need a little 2P next up so that you're not getting hit with a high, or you need to guard, or get a backdash so you can see what they're doing. Make sure you have a plan in mind, depending on who you're fighting, so you know what you want to do next. And we're going to keep going into defensive options. There's something else I want to talk about here, is I want to talk about punishing. I'm sure I've talked about it in one of my older videos. Punishing is very controversial because in this game, punishing gets really confused with grabs. They think when you're grabbing, that's the only punish there is, it's the most optimal punish there is, but there's not. There are two different kinds. You can throw punish and you can attack punish. And there's different ways that you want to use each of them, and different areas that you want to use each of them in. So let's say here, we're gonna turn off all this. There. And we're gonna turn off this fight screen info so you guys can get a little peep of what I'm looking at. So let's say right here, you want to try to punish this character. Let's say Kasumi has just done this move that puts me right behind her. A lot of people are thinking, go for the throw, right? That's the best thing you want to do. You want to go for the throw. That's your most optimal punish. It does a lot of damage, don't get me wrong, but you have better punish options. See what I'm saying? For like Kokoro, you could do stuff like this, and then you get, or for Kokoro, Honoka, she has a sidestep where she can get some extra stun. Shit like that. That's kind of one of those moments where, yeah, you can throw punish. It is there. It's a little easier, it's a little faster if you're not ready or you're, you know, not comfortable doing attack punishes. But the moment you see something like this, the attack punish is probably the most optimal. You're going to get the most damage out of it, and it's the best thing that you can do at the time. Attack punishing is a little harder. You have to know frames to kind of get how it works. You see a move that's this negative, you know you have this much time to do this move to punish them with an attack. It's a little harder, but a lot of the times that you attack punish, you can get more optimal damage, better combos, better setups, more that you're looking for than just a grab. And the grab is kind of like the finisher of it. Like, you grab and it's like, it's all over. You know, you get your little damage, and then it's just the neutral grab. No direction to it, you can see it down at the bottom. That's one of the most optimal ones you can do right there. It's just a neutral grab. But let's say they do something really slow and you want to throw a punish, go for the forward or the back. And the reason I'm saying go for forward or the back is when you're just doing just neutral punish, you have the option of being Where is it? Throw escape. Fastest. Right here. Just neutrals. You can be they can escape throws. But from my understanding, you cannot escape forward throws, back throws, stuff like that. You can only escape multiple part throws and neutral throws. That's the difference. So you want to try to work out, you know, what move that this person has done and try to test out the neutral. Okay, the neutral worked. Let me try the next time I see that to do a forward or a back and see if that works. And if it doesn't, go back to the neutral. And then just be prepared when you do a neutral that they might break it and have something in mind, like a backdash, so you're not getting, you know, bombarded by attacks. And stuff like this that you gotta take the time with your character. Look at ways that you can do things to make sure that you aren't getting fucked up, essentially. One more thing I want to talk about for the defensive and offensive, this works for both sides, is I want to talk about crushes. I'm sure I've talked about it before, but I kind of want to go into more detail about it. Crush moves are moves that are built to beat out other moves. They're attacks built to beat out other moves. Now, the most common ones you're going to see are low crushes and high crushes. And like this right here, that right there is a high crush. The purpose of it is, let's say Kasumi is doing kick, kick, kick. Those three moves are all highs. You can do this move and it ducks under it. And it will hit them and you'll get your damage and you can make your combos off it and do whatever you want to do. And you're crushing the high. That's essentially where the term comes from. You're coming from a high crush. And there's one that you might see like all the time when people do something like this. When you do like a low wake-up kick. That's what's considered a low crush. It's built to jump over low attacks, so you won't be hit by the low attacks, and you can crush it and still come out with some kind of damage. That's the whole point of crushes. So you want to go through each of your characters, ask questions, you know, to friends or to people that, you know, you think are really good, and say, like, what are some of my crush options for this character? Everybody's different. So once you learn the crush options, you can start seeing, like, well, I know that that's a high strike, I'm going to just high crush it. Or I know they're trying to grab, I'm just going to jump or something, you know? Moves like that. It also plays into your offensive, and it also can help you switch from the defensive to the offensive. You just have to know what you're looking for in your character. So make sure you peep that out, test it out, and you will be able to see it again in the move details. I'll show you right here. You see how I'm doing that move and it says I'm crouching under the status? That means it's a mid-punch move. Like it says, type mid-punch. But it's a crouching move, which means this move particularly is made to crush high attacks. And then we're going to go with this one. It's a mid-kick, and then you'll see in the status, it says jump evades lows. That's a low crush. So play around, see what you can do, find out those crushes, and you can use those to your advantage later on in the game. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is the little footsies options I've been giving you. A lot of the times in this video I've been talking about doing like back dashes or something, you know, just a quick little back real quick to make sure you gain some distance, clear your head and figure it out, or side steps and stuff like that. This all plays into footsies. Get some, you know, stun in, sidestep, do things like this, backdash, come back in, clear your head, see what your opponent's going to do. Footsies, a lot of people don't think it's very important, especially in this game, because it seems like it never really plays a part, but if you actually take the time to learn how to back up, or when you need to get in, get out kind of deal, with your footsies mechanics and your sidesteps, it makes a huge change in your offensive and defensive gameplay. So make sure that you test it out by yourself. Go into the lab, see what you can do with it, and then just go out and test it out and see how it works in a real fight. That's the best way you can deal with it. but you must make sure that you're going out and actually taking the footsie game seriously, because it is serious. Going to backdash and then using a move like this, and if they try to hit a button and you get the hit at that max distance, you're going to get more stun. You're going to get more out of it with your footsies game. So make sure that you take that seriously and take that into account when you're thinking about what you can do, because it is important that you want to apply the pressure, keep the pressure, and keep your opponent guessing. You don't want to put yourself in positions, like I said earlier, that puts you in a guessing game. So make sure that you take all this into account when you're trying to stay on one side or the other, or advance from one side or the other. The last thing I really want to talk about before I end this video is we're going to jump right back to character select. I want to talk about the environment and how you can use the environment to your advantage to jump from one side to the other, to either keep applying that pressure or to do things like get away from the pressure, you know? Of course, you can keep using obstacles and environment to advance or get more damage out of things. But the beautiful thing about Dead or Alive, that I think, anyways, one of the best things about it, is the environment. You can either choose to use it to get some great damage, or you can use it to keep your pressure game going when their back's against this pillar, or you can use it to get away. You see them doing this and that, and then you do something and you put them right onto this pillar and you get some big damage. And you can take everything into account. Or stuff like this, the forward grab, and they have nothing they can do about it. Get some big damage, get some, that's offensive techniques. You could use defensive options, like you can block, and the moment you're done, hold on, I should take her over here, I'll show you, if I can get it right. Hello to whoever is joining in on this. I just want to get you over to the pillar. Didn't want to break it, so we're going to go to this pillar. There we go, perfect, okay. So, let's say your back's against the wall, right? And you're trying to get out of this pressure game, and you're tired of getting hit and hit and hit, and you don't want to get knocked into this pillar. You could do something like the back grab against walls. Damn, she didn't do it. And some characters will do stuff like this. This immediately turns the game around, puts you on the offensive, and now you got the upper hand. So you gotta make sure that you understand what your characters can do and try to apply that. And try not to jump too fast into trying to move outside the offensive. Try to plan out your next moves ahead. If your back's against the wall and you don't know what to do, but you know your character has a back throw that'll put the enemy into the wall, block a little bit. Block, throw out a 1-2 string, they decide they want to block or they want to do something stupid afterwards, throw their ass to the wall, back up, get yourself together again. You know, it's all about how you want to handle the situation, but you always got to have a game plan with it. And other than that, there's not too much that you really need to know. There's going to be more videos in the future. I should have done this a long time ago, but I didn't. But, go ahead and go out, find the moves that do stuns, you know, critical stuns or deep stuns, moves that launch. Go and play around. Take this video into what I said, you know, come back, watch it later, learn about, you know, your defensive options, your offensive options, the crushes, you know, how far you want to be away for distances, and how you want to punish somebody. If you want to punish somebody with, you know, an attack punish in that point, or if you want to just use the simple throw, then that's what you need to go and play around with. There's more things that you need to look at. And if you do want to keep that offensive pressure, should I use a tracking move? Should I throw? Should I do something else? Look at all that when you're looking into things. And the gameplay will go a lot further, and you'll see a big, big difference in the way you play. But when I come back the next time I make a video, I'm going to be talking more about like more environmental stuns, things like that, and I'm going to start breaking down framework. So that the people that don't quite get it, they don't understand, I'm going to try to break it down piece by piece, make it a little long like this video, so that I make sure that I'm not missing a point when I say this is what this does, or this is what this does. I want to come back to it so that everybody can grasp that basic concept, because frames aren't too hard, but once you learn them, you also have to learn how to apply them. So I'm going to come back onto that the next time I come on here. So for everybody that popped in last second, I'm sorry for that. You're going to have to come back and watch the video, you know, after it's done uploading and everything like that. And I'll make sure to post the video onto Facebook groups and things like that, so everybody else can check it out and they can get a little bit better, further their game. But until the next time I pop on, it's been Tragic Paramore, you guys. I'm out this bitch. Peace shake. And I'll catch you at the next one. Alright guys, see ya.